Hey, coin collectors. Imagine this, you're digging through an old jar of coins that's been sitting in your attic for decades. You pull out a 1960 Lincoln penny, and boom. You're staring at a potential $999,000 in your palm. Sounds too good to be true. Well, buckle up because we're diving into this golden nugget of a penny and showing you why that dusty coin might just be worth more than your car. Stick around, because this is going to be one wild ride through Pennyland. Alright, so here's the deal. Most of us, at some point, have been guilty of tossing a coin or two into a jar or piggy bank just because it looked, well, old or interesting, with no real thought about its future value. That was me, probably in 2012, when I found an old jar of coins in my grandmother's closet. I casually tossed in some random pennies. But, hold on to your wallets, because you might want to grab those pennies, especially if one of them is the elusive 1960 Lincoln penny. So what makes this little guy so special? Well, to break it down for you, in 1960, the US Mint produced these pennies with a D mint mark, which is pretty common. But, there's a twist, some of these 1960 pennies were accidentally struck with a double die obverse error. Basically, the die used to strike the penny was misaligned, causing the image of Lincoln to appear doubled or ghosted on the coin. If you've ever seen a blurry photo of a celebrity, think of the double die effect as that, but, instead of a blurry celebrity, you've got Honest Abe's face, twice. And it's a lot more valuable than a blurry celebrity. Now, here's the kicker. If you've got one of these double die pennies, especially in mint condition, you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere from a couple of $100 to a jaw-dropping $999,000. Yes, you heard me right. Nearly $1 million for a single penny. That's a whole lot more than the face value of 1 cent. Okay, but before you run off to check your change jar, let's talk about the real value. Most 1960 pennies aren't going to be worth close to $1 million. The ones with the double die errors are the rare ones, and they're harder to find than you might think. But don't panic. If you've got a 1960 it's not a lost cause. First off, let's check for that error. Look closely at the date and Lincoln's features, specifically around his eye, cheek, and his bow tie. If you spot a doubled image in these areas, you might be holding a gold mine. Or, more accurately, a penny mine. Either way, the market for error coins is huge. And while a near-perfect example might be worth hundreds of thousands, even pennies in decent condition could be worth a pretty penny, pun absolutely intended. Let me share a funny story about my own penny hunt. A few years ago, I found a 1958 penny in my drawer, thought it was just some run-of-the-mill copper. I tossed it aside like, meh, nothing special. But a week later, a friend of mine tells me they sold one just like it for $50 online. $50. I was kicking myself, thinking, why did I not Google that? Why didn't I take a closer look? So, lesson learned, always check your coins. Even if it's just a dusty old penny. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm sitting on the next $1 million 1960 right now. So here's the deal, folks. If you've got a 1960 penny hanging around, don't just toss it in the back of your coin jar. It could be worth a small fortune. Even if it's not the rare double die, it still might be worth more than that candy bar you were eyeing earlier. Wow, this might be worth something, only to find out it's just a penny. Well, hold on to your hats, because today we're talking about one very special penny that is anything but ordinary. In fact, this little guy could make you almost $1 million. Yep, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1971 mint mark Lincoln penny, and if you have one of these tucked away, you might want to go check your couch cushions, or maybe even your grandma's coin jar. So, let's dive into this little piece of history. First off, the 1971 penny is a regular penny in most ways. It's got that iconic Lincoln memorial on the reverse side, the shiny copper color, and the classic, "In God We Trust," on the obverse. Nothing too wild at first glance. But, here's the catch, not all 1971 pennies are created equal. And that's where the S mint mark comes into play. The S mint mark tells us that this penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1971, the U.S. Treasury decided to release a very limited number of pennies with the S mint mark. It was supposed to be just a test, but here's the kicker, these S mint mark pennies, they weren't meant to be in circulation. So, most of them ended up being locked away, forgotten, or melted down. The ones that survived, they're the golden geese of the coin world right now. Can you believe that? Just 30 years ago, you could find these in change like any other penny. But now? Well, let's just say they can be worth anywhere between $200 to a staggering $986,000. No joke. So, if you've got one of these hiding in your collection, or maybe just chilling in your piggy bank, you might want to go dig it out right now. I actually had a bit of a penny collecting experience myself. I remember when I was a kid, I thought all coins were pretty much worthless. I had this giant jar full of pennies I would get from my parents' change. I was all about the shiny new ones, especially the 1999s, hey, it was a special year, okay? Anyway, I dumped that whole jar of pennies on my bed and started looking through them like a little treasure hunter. Guess what I found? Nothing worth more than a few cents. But I did find an old, rusty 1943 copper penny, and I thought, hey, I bet this is worth something. Turns out, I was wrong. But who knows? If I'd known about the 1971 S penny back then, I'd be sitting on a small fortune by now. Don't make the same mistake I did. So, how can you tell if your 1971 penny is worth that kind of money? Well, for starters, you need to make sure it's the S mint mark. It'll be right under the date on the front of the coin. And you'll want to check the condition. The higher the grade, the more cash it's worth. So, if you've got a coin that's in pristine condition, no scratches, no wear, no visible damage, you're in for a treat. But remember, this is a rare find. Not every 1971 S penny is going to fetch the big bucks, and it's not something you're likely to come across at a gas station anytime soon. But if you do find one, getting it graded by a professional is the way to go. These coins can fetch anywhere from $200 for a good condition one, all the way up to $986,000 if it's in mint condition. That's not a typo, nearly $1 million. So, here's your homework, take a look through your change jar, flip through your collection, and check for that 1971 S penny. Who knows, you might just have a goldmine on your hands. And hey, if you find one, make sure you let me know, because I'm totally buying you a celebratory drink, or maybe just a shiny new penny. But seriously, coins are a fun and sometimes lucrative hobby, and you never know what's hiding in your collection. Stop right there. What if I told you that a penny, yes, that little copper coin you find under your couch cushions, could be worth almost $1 million? Sounds like a scam, right? But nope, this is real. Today, we're diving into the wild world of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll be hunting for your change like a treasure hunter in a mall parking lot. But first, let's see if you're sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. So, let's talk about this rare penny. The 1972 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark is worth a jaw-dropping $973,000. Yep, nearly $1 million. But before you start shaking out your piggy bank or rifling through all the loose change you've got lying around, let's break this down and see what makes this little coin so valuable. Now, most of us are used to seeing a mint mark on our pennies, right? You know, that little letter right below Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. If it says D, you know it came from Denver. S means it came from San Francisco. But, here's where things get interesting. In 1972, there was a super rare mistake made during the production of the coins. Some of the pennies came out of the U.S. Mint without a mint mark at all. No D, no S, just plain, no frills pennies. Insert an animation showing a minting process with a penny dropping from a machine, and one being missed, without a mint mark, and you know what? Those plain pennies, the ones missing that tiny mint mark, are worth a ton of money. Why? Well, it's because they're so rare. The US Mint made a mistake, and this error was noticed only much later. So, a couple of these bad boys ended up being worth nearly $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Some of these have sold for almost $1 million at auction. Crazy, right? I mean, most of us are just trying to get 25 cents in change for that overpriced coffee, and someone out there's cashing in on $973,000 for one penny. If that doesn't make you want to double-check your couch cushions, I don't know what will. Okay, so here's a quick story. I remember when I first heard about this rare penny. I was at a family barbecue, and my uncle, who's always talking about his coin collection, told me about this 1972 penny. Of course, I thought he was messing with me. I mean, come on, a penny worth nearly $1 million. I laughed, and my uncle, being the coin nerd he is, pulled out his phone and showed me proof of a recent auction where someone got $900,000 for a 1972 no mint mark penny. I immediately started digging through my old change jars. But, no luck. I guess that penny just wasn't meant to be mine. But hey, maybe you'll have better luck than I did. Just don't go emptying your whole house looking for one. You want to know what to look for. Trust me, no one's getting rich off a bunch of random, worn-out pennies. If you do find one, though, it's game on. Game on, my friend. Alright, so you now know about the 1972 no mint mark penny, its history, and why it could be worth almost $1 million. But here's the thing, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to valuable coins. Who knows, you could have another gem hiding in your coin jar. But you won't know unless you start looking, and looking with the right knowledge. So, if you want more tips on how to find coins that are worth way more than face value, or how to make serious money from your collection, you need to hit that subscribe button. Don't leave me hanging, be sure to subscribe, and I'll keep you updated with more ways to spot treasures that could make you rich. And hey, if you find one of these rare pennies, don't forget who helped you get there. You can thank me later. Seriously. 973K, you know where to find me. You know, that copper thing we toss around like it's worthless. Well, let me blow your mind with a little secret, there's a penny out there that could make you nearly $1 million. Yes, I said it, $1 million. Stick around because today, we're diving into the legendary 1977 no mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin so rare, it's worth more than some people's houses. If you have one of these hiding in your pocket change, get ready to call your bank and your insurance agent. Alright, grab your magnifying glass, because today, we're talking about a real penny treasure that could be sitting in your collection, and it's worth a whole lot. Let's get into it, so, let's break it down. The 1977 no mint mark Lincoln 1 cent is something of a coin collector's holy grail. First off, you might be wondering, what's the deal with the no mint mark? If you're a bit new to this whole coin collecting thing, let me explain. Mint marks are little letters stamped on the coin to tell you where it was made. Most pennies from 1977 have a D for Denver or a S for San Francisco, but some just don't have anything. And that's where the mystery begins. So, where did it come from? Why is it worth so much? Well, here's the thing, back in 1977, the US Mint was cranking out pennies like nobody's business, and sometimes, mistakes happen. Some pennies from that year were struck without a mint mark by accident, and those errors? Yeah, they're gold, or, should I say, copper, for collectors. And today, that error can be worth, drumroll please, up to $971,000. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You could sell one of these bad boys for the price of a house, a car, and maybe even a yacht. Seriously. I'll be honest, when I first heard about this coin, I was like, a penny that's worth $1 million? Yeah, okay, sure. But then I started looking through my old change and realized, sometimes, you do find something interesting in that jar of spare change you've been avoiding. And trust me, I've had my own little coin searching adventure. One day, I was looking through a bunch of old coins I'd been collecting, mostly thinking they were just shiny junk. But I found this one old penny, and it wasn't a 1977 no-mint mark penny, but it did turn out to be a 1955 double die, worth a solid chunk of change. It got me thinking, maybe there's more out there, and I wasn't wrong. So, I took a deep breath and thought, let's see if there's anything special hiding in my stash of loose change. These 1977 no-mint mark pennies are rare. Like, really rare. Most of them were likely lost, melted down, or simply never made it past the mint. But if you do find one, you could be looking at a small fortune. Of course, you'll need to be sure it's a genuine error. How can you tell? Well, look for the absence of a mint mark under the date, and if it's in great condition, like, near perfect, it'll be worth more. If it's in pretty good shape but a little worn, it could still bring you a solid amount, maybe a few $1,000s. And don't think you're just gonna stumble upon a mint condition 1977 no mint mark penny sitting in your change jar like it's the golden ticket. But hey, if you do, consider yourself a lucky coin ninja. And if you don't worry. There are plenty of other coins out there with big potential value. The key is knowing what to look for, like this coin. Alright, now that you know all about this magical 1977 no mint mark penny, what are you going to do with this info? Hopefully, you're already scouring your pockets, your drawers, and that old tin can you've been using as a piggy bank. I'll bet you'll be amazed at what you might find when you start paying attention to the details, and hey, if you want more tips and tricks to discover coins that are worth money, don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the inside scoop on all sorts of coins. Who knows, the next video could have a coin that's worth more than a 1977 no mint mark penny. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join the coin hunting crew. Have you ever stared at your change jar and thought, I wonder if there's $1 million penny hiding in here? Well, if you've got a 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, you might be holding on to a serious treasure worth almost $1 million. Yup, you heard that right, $954,000. Now, I know what you're thinking, is that guy on a caffeine binge, or is he for real? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to show you why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth more than your car. Stay tuned. Alright, let's break it down. So, you know how every year the US Mint prints billions of pennies, right? But here's the twist, if you take a look at your 1978 penny and you don't see a mint mark, you've found something special. Most of the time, pennies from 1978 have a little D for Denver or a S for San Francisco stamped on them. But the 1978 pennies with no mint mark? Yeah, those were supposedly only made in Philadelphia. The thing is, they were a huge mistake, and guess what? They didn't realize they made them without the mint mark until after they were already circulating. So, there's this tiny, unintentional rarity that's just been sitting there, almost unnoticed for decades. And when collectors discovered it, they freaked out, because it's a mint error coin. These coins are like the rock stars of the numismatic world, rare, iconic, and worth more than your last Amazon order, but how much are we talking? Well, the market value of a 1978 no mint mark penny can range depending on its condition, but one of these beauties recently sold for a mind-boggling $954,000 at auction. I don't know about you, but if I found a penny like that, I'd probably faint. I mean, who would have thought that a penny worth 1 cent could turn into $500,000? This coin's price tag is higher than my mortgage, and I really like my house. Now, here's where I get real with you. I was once at a coin show, and let me tell you, I was that guy with the gigantic tote bag, sifting through random pennies like they were going out of style. I'm not proud of it, but I spent hours digging through bins of pennies, thinking I might have something rare. Turns out, most of my finds were about as valuable as the snacks at the bottom of my couch cushions. But one day, just as I was about to leave, I found this 1943 steel penny, and I could have sworn I heard the heavens open up. But back to the 1978 no mint mark penny. If you're holding on to one of these, don't go spending it on a soda just yet. Make sure it's checked by a professional to verify its authenticity and condition, because the better shape it's in, the more you're looking at potentially life-changing money. Now, if you're feeling lucky and want to find one of these rarities in your pocket change, here's how you can check for the missing mint mark. First, look at the obverse side of the penny, the side with Lincoln's face on it. If you don't see a D or S near the date, then you might just have a 1978 no mint mark penny. Don't worry if you're not sure, it's super easy to get an expert opinion. You can take your coin to a professional appraiser or even send it to a reputable grading company to see if you've got a keeper. You might even want to consider getting it graded. Coins in excellent condition can skyrocket in value. So, what's the moral of this story? Next time you're digging through your penny jar, keep an eye out for that elusive 1978 no mint mark penny. It might be sitting right there, under your nose, just waiting for its time to shine. And hey, if you ever do find one, I want to hear all about it. Maybe I'll be able to retire on your story. I'll even take you out for coffee if you promise to give me a cut of that $9.54K. But seriously, if you love coins, want more tips on how to turn pocket change into big bucks, and enjoy hearing about rare finds, hit that subscribe button and join the club. I'll be bringing you more insider info on how to spot valuable coins like a pro, all while keeping things fun. So, smash that bell, and I'll see you in the next video.